the linked list data structure, let us briefly revise the previous two data structures what we have studied, stacks and queues. So in stack, what used to happen here is it was having only one end and elements were inserted from the same end. So insertion of the elements and deletion of the elements was possible from the same end. Right? In case of queue, we were having two different ends. So front end for deletion of the elements and rear end for the insertion of the elements. So insert from this end and delete from this end. So these were the examples for the linear data structure. So these were the examples for linear data structures. Now one more data structure what we are trying to study now is linked lists. Linked list. So as what it says, the name itself says, we are trying to link some nodes with each other. Here we are trying to perform linking of the information or data. That is correlated information or related data will be linked with each other. That is what is linked list. So whereas in this stack, we cannot perform the linking between this data and this data. Interrelation linking is very difficult to establish. Whereas in case of queue also we cannot link the, if you have the knowledge of this node, this data, you cannot directly get this data knowledge. From here you cannot directly switch to this data. That means interrelation. So generally what I am trying to speak here is interrelation or correlation between the data information is not present in stacks and queues. Whereas in linked list, what we try to make an attempt is interlinking or interrelation of data will be established with the help of linked list. Say for example, all the students in a class. So every student in a class is linked with each other. That is student number 1, student number 2, and so on up to student number n. So this is what is details of that particular student. Details of that particular student, whereas this is what is pointer which is pointing to the next student. That is, for example, this is roll number 1, roll number 2, so on up to roll number n. And these are called as links or pointers. These are called as links or pointers. So what basically is the linked list? So why establishing linking is essential here? Because these nodes or these information are related. They are related pieces of information. This entire thing is representing details of one student. This entire thing is representing details of another student. So this is representing the details of nth student. So correlated information can be linked with each other. So that's why along with storing the information, in some situations, along with storing the data, or information, we may feel to store some other details such as pointers or links to the next nodes, pointers or links to the other nodes. So in that case, we will make use of the linked list. In that case, we will go for using the linked list. That was the need for linked list. Right. So these are the list of elements. Some sample scenario they have taken. Right. As I'll go for a definition. What I explained just now with the other scenario I have explained you. Now, how can we store the data in memory? So the way of storing the list in memory is to have each element in the list contain a field called link or a pointer, which already I have explained. So every node will contain link or a pointer. So this is, we are going to call it as one node in terms of linked list. So it is going to contain the data, and this is what is the pointer. This is what is the pointer. Right, coming to the specific definition of the linked list. A linked list is, or it is also called as one-way list, because we are going to study circular and two-way later. So a linked list is also called as one-way list or linear linked list is a linear collection of data elements called nodes. It is a collection of data elements called nodes where the linear order is given by means of pointers, where the linear order is provided by the means of pointer. So that is specifically every node is divided into two parts. So there are two fundamental parts in each and every node present in the linked list. The first part will be actually containing the information, actual data. As I said here, first part is actually going to contain the actual information, and the second part is going to contain the details such as pointer to the next field, that is going to contain address of the next node in the linked list. Address of the next node in the linked list. So what the definition of the linked list says, so diagrammatically I'll try to explain. So linked list is collection of nodes. Linked list is collection of nodes where every node contains, right? Where every node contains these are called as nodes. This is node number 1, node number 2, and node number 3, and so on. So these are called as nodes, where linear order is given by the pointers. That is, each node is divided into two parts. The first part contains the information, and second part is the pointer. So this is the first part which is going to contain the information, and this is the second part which is nothing but a pointer or a link. You can also call it as a link. You can also call it as a data. So this whole thing is going to represent a node in a linked list. So this is basically what node number 1, and this is node number 2, and this is node number 3. So collection of all these nodes is called as a linked list. So what is the purpose of this data? This is going to contain the actual information, whatever data you want to store, either 10, 20, whatever. Whereas this link, what it contains, address of the next node. It will be pointing to, it points to the next node, or in other words, it contains the address of next node. It contains the address of next node. So that is what is property of each and every node. Similarly, node number 2, it may contain some data, whereas this is called as second field is called as link field or pointer field, which contains address of the next node. Nothing but it is pointing to the next node. This is pointing to the next node. So that is what is simple definition of the linked list. Now assume node 3 is containing a data called 30, and if there is no next node here, what usually it will contain? It will contain a null value. It will contain a null value. That indicates end of the linked list. There are no further nodes after that. That indicates end of the linked list. So this was the fundamental definition of the linked list. So one more example they have taken in the textbook. So this is just a start, and this is some information. This is what is information. So this is some information what they have taken in the textbook, and it's pointer which is pointing to the next node. Again info, pointer to the next node. This is information field, pointer field, information field and pointer field. So here they have the next pointer field of the third node, information part of the third node. So for example, for the third node, this is representing next pointer field, and this is representing information part. That is actually going to contain the information part. Here you can give any names for this linked list. Usually start is the pointer which is going to contain starting address of the starting node of the linked list. So the linked list also contains a list pointer variable called start or name, which contains address of the first node in the linked list. So you need not use these same names. You can use any names for identifying starting of the linked list. It is like if you know the details of roll number 1 in a classroom, if you know the details of roll number 1, then you can get detail of the nth student also. That means if you want the mobile number of 9th student in the classroom, and you know the mobile number of the first student, so what we can do, we can call to this student and get the information of next student if they are not directly linked. So that's how the interlinking, all the students in a classroom are connected with each other. All the students in a classroom are connected with each other. So that will be the sample scenario of storing the data in the form of information and link field, whereas pointers will contain address of the next nodes. So one more example scenario what we can consider here is, this is a hospital is going to contain 12 beds, out of which 9 are occupied, right? So if you can, I'll just try to reduce this so that it will get displayed in the single screen. Okay, right? This is what is the hospital scenario. These are the bed numbers and these are the patients who are actually occupying that particular bed or who are using that bed. And this next indicates pointer to the next node. Next indicates pointer to the next bed. So what happens here is the hospital can maintain the detail of the first bed, that is first admitted patient. They go on linking with the next admitted patient. That will be easy for them to find the nodes or find the beds which are free now. Say for example, the starting pointer is pointing to the starting bed. So where it is pointing to the bed number 5. So this is what is the bed number 5. So starting pointer is pointing to bed number 5 that is occupied by patient called Adams. And what is the next pointer? Link pointer. See here, this is the node which is containing two parts. I'll just try to enhance this only. So just try to imagine this is our node now. So what is the node? This I will rewrite it here. I'll take help of this one only. Right? Adams is the, I'm rewriting it here for understanding purpose. So what every node contains? Every node contains two parts, information part and the link part or the pointer part. So information is what? Items. What is the pointer? What is the link part is containing? Address of the next node, or in other words, address of the next bed. What is the address of the bed? Next bed, it is 3. So it is pointing to the next bed number 3. So with this way, now at the bed number 3 is what is the information? It is occupied by the patient called Dean. And what is the pointer to the next bed? Next bed is 11. That means what it indicates? That bed number 11, next patient is available. So directly you can go and point to the bed number 11. So bed number 11 that is occupied by Fields, and the next bed number is 8. So it is pointing to the next bed number 8. So such scenario will go on repeating. So basically what we are trying to do here is we are just knowing the details of the first bed. If you remember only the details of first patient, we will just link the next incoming patient. We will just link the next incoming patient with the present patient. So that is what is advantage of linked list. So this was an example sample scenario. And how do we represent the linked lists in memory? So linked lists are represented in memory by using two basic fundamental lists. That is, the list will be maintained in memory unless otherwise specified or implied as follows. So you can represent the linked list in whatever way you want. But usually what notation we are going to follow? The list is going to require two linear arrays. So as I said, every node is going to contain two parts. One part is information part and another part is pointer part. To store those two details, we need one information array and another one we need the link array. So information array is going to contain actual data and link array is going to contain the pointers to the next data. So with these two fundamental linear arrays, we can represent the linked list in memory. The information part and the next pointer field are going to be the part of the node in each and every linked list. So list also requires a variable name such as start. So it is left to you. You can also make use of a variable name called start to point to the starting address of the linked list. And whereas as I told, null indicates end of the linked list. So we'll choose null equal to 0 unless otherwise stated. So by default, we are going to assume that null is equal to 0. So this fundamental explanation is given with a sample example scenario. So what it says here is starting address. We are trying to represent the linked list by using these two linear arrays. One is information array, another one is pointer array. And the starting address only we are knowing. What it says, starting address for the nodes is 9. That means information field, these are the addresses for the information field. So it is pointing to node, it is just the node number 9. At node number 9, so when I say here, you must assume them like this. But for implementation, representation wise, we are going to take in two different arrays. So what is the information present in at node number 9 or at address 9? So n is the information. What is the link? Link is 3. That's what it is showing. Information present at 9 is what? N. So that is nothing but the first character. That is nothing but the first character. Then what is the link of 9? The link of 9 is pointing to what? 3. So it is taking us to which node? It is taking us to node 3, right? Then add 3, what information we have? O. Then this is taking us to link 6. Next, what we have? Blank space. Next, from here we are going to 11. E. It is giving us information of E. Next, you have to move to 7. What is present in 7? We have X. Then it is taking us to 10. What is present in 10? I. So I is taking us to 4. What is present in 4? T. So T is taking us to 0. So this is a sample linking. If you go on trying, so it will starting with the n we have. Next n is taking us to 3. At third location what we have? I'll erase all these. For at ninth location what we have? N. That is the first character. So next character what we have? At 3. At 3 what is the character? O. Next at sixth location. At sixth location what is the character? Blank space. Then next location 11. What is the character at 11th? E. Then at 7 what character we have? X. Then at 10 what we have? I. Then at 4 what we have? T. Then at 3 what we have? Null. So what, if you can see here what it is giving? It is giving some useful information to us. So what is that useful information? No exit. No exit is the useful information. And finally link of 4 is having null value. So it is just a null. That means what it indicates? End of linked list. So end of linked list. So when you go on tracing these pointers, some useful information, some disguised information is available. So what is that useful information? No exit is the useful information. And this is how we represent the linked list in memory. This is how we represent linked list in memory. So same one more example they have taken. So what we have seen is definitely what is the linked list, representation of linked list in memory, and allocation of memory and garbage collection. So how do we allocate memory to the nodes? So memory allocation and garbage collection. So if you want to allocate memory to the nodes of the linked list, so there must be memory must be available first. So I'll take one example sample scenario. So if this is a node which requires 10 bytes of memory, So this is a data field. Second, this is the data field and this is the pointer field or link field. To represent this, you need 10 bytes of memory. Now, to allocate memory for this, we should have some memory. For our understanding purpose, I am showing it like this. So it is called as free pool, or specifically when I talk in terms of programming, in terms of system architecture, the free pool will be something like this. Available free memory location. So many bytes will be there in this. So many bytes will be there. Starting from 0, 6, 5, 5, 3, 6, some number, maximum number. And out of these, if this is what is the free pool, what is that? Starting from 1000 to 5000 is free. This is nothing but free fill. What it indicates? Available memory location. This is called as available memory location. So from that available memory location only, you have to allocate memory for the new nodes. So for example, if you have some money, the excess money you will be depositing in the bank. And by chance, if you need the money from the bank, that is what is your available memory or reserved memory. available money or reserved money. You withdraw from the bank. You take your money from the bank and then use it for the purpose. So same purpose, same way what you are doing here is, if you want to allocate memory to the new nodes, if you want to allocate memory to the new nodes, there must be available memory. There must be free memory in the main memory. If the memory is available, then only you can take the memory from here and allocate it. And this is called as memory allocation. This is called as memory allocation. And the some sample scenario what we already seen was M alloc and C alloc. So that there also we are playing the same role. What is that? If you want to allocate memory to the variables, make sure the free memory is available. Make sure the free memory is available. If there is no free memory, we cannot allocate memory. We cannot allocate memory to the nodes or data information. So this entire thing is one node. So that is what is memory allocation. That is linked list in memory. A special list is maintained which consists of unused memory cells. Unused memory cells are nothing but the free memory cells. These are the unused memory cells. That this list, which has its own pointer, is called a list of available space, or it is also called an available space or free storage list or free pool. Three different names: free storage list or free pool. So from this free pool only you have to fetch the memory and allocate to the new incoming node. Allocate to the new incoming node. So this is just a sample scenario. Suppose our linked lists are implemented by parallel arrays, then the unused memory cells in the array will also be linked together to form a linked list that is available. So what available points here is, available is pointing to available memory location. That is this available free memory location. So there is one pointer, you must be able to point to that. See, if you have stored your excess money in a bank, you should have passbook for that bank, or you should have ATM card for that bank. So that is nothing but pointer to that available memory location. Because once you have pointer to the available money, then only you can withdraw the money. So that is what is pointer to the available memory location. Right? Such a data structure will frequently be denoted by this location. So what it says, allocate a new node with this information and with this pointer having this starting address from this available free memory location. And this is a sample definition for how the memory gets allocated. Right, this is another scenario in which the memory is getting allocated. That is free memory locations. Right? So these are the nodes that occupied by the patient, and these are the pointers. The previous diagram has been modified now. So what it says, two pointers we are trying to maintain. This is what is starting address of the memory which is already occupied. What it says, start is 5. It is starting from Adams. Then it is going to 3. At 3 what we have Dean. Then it is going to 11. At 11 what we have Fields, and so on. It will go on continuing. But among these, if you can see here, these are the free memory locations. What are the free memory locations? This is free. This is also free. And this is also free. So that is available memory locations. These are the available memory locations. So when these are the available memory locations, we should have some pointer to the available memory location. When we have the available memory location, we should be able to point to that available memory location. Because if you have the address of it, then only you can take it and assign to our nodes. Then only you can take it and assign to our nodes. So what is the starting pointer for the available memory location? It is 10. So 10, that means node number 10 is freely available. Then what is the next node which is freely available? 2 is the next node which is freely available. 2 is free, you can use it. After using 2, if you want one more node, which is the next node which is freely available? 6 is the node which is freely available. After 6, is there any other node? No. So that means freely available list is end. So this is end of the freely available list. So this is how we can allocate memory for the new nodes. That means you should have two pointers. One pointer which is pointing to already allocated memory location, and one pointer which is pointing to freely available memory location. This is the same scenario what I explained, right? So what actually is a garbage collection? So garbage collection is something like, see, what I have done here is, I'll explain the scenario. From the bank, I'll explain the scenario. Within the bank, you assume that you have 10,000 rupees deposited in your bank. 10,000 rupees deposited in your bank. So you will withdraw 1,000 rupees. You will withdraw 1,000 rupees. And by chance, if you don't need that 1,000 rupees, instead of keeping it here with you, you will again go back and deposit in the bank. Go back and deposit in the bank. So this is what is you can compare with the garbage collection. But in fact, garbage collection exactly may not work like this. I have given some sample scenario for understanding purpose. But what actually is the garbage collection? If you have withdrawn 1,000 rupees, but you are not at all using it. You have cash in your hand, but you are not using it. So when you are not using it, what is the use of holding it in your hand? So unnecessary to avoid the risk, what you do, you will go and deposit in the bank. So that is what is garbage collection. What is the garbage collection? Now I will come for our programming part. So this is the free pool or freely available memory location. Freely available memory location. Say around 1,000 megabytes of memory is available. 1,000 megabytes of memory is available. You will bring it and allocate to the nodes. You will bring it and allocate to the nodes. This is node number 1 and this is node number 2. So this node is using 10 MB of space. This node is also using 10 MB of space. Right? From this free pool, you have taken memory and allocated to two nodes which are using 10 MB each. Now assume after some point of time, you don't need this node 1, or in other words, the memory occupied by the node 1 is not at all required. We will stop using that. We stop using that node 1. Then what happens to the memory occupied by the node 1? So node 1 is making use of 10 megabytes of storage. So that 10 megabytes of storage must be taken back. 10 megabytes of memory must be taken back. That must be done automatically by the system. And that is what is called as garbage collection. So why it is referring to the term called garbage here? Because there is a memory which is given to you. 10 MB of space is given to you, but you are not using it. The use of that memory is not there for you now. That means that acts as a garbage memory, and that will be given back to the free pool so that others can use that. So that is what is this mechanism is called as garbage collection. So this particular mechanism is called as garbage collection. This mechanism is called as garbage collection. Who will do this? So operating system will do it automatically. Operating system will do it automatically. So what actually is a garbage collection? So I will summarize. Whenever the memory occupied by a node is of no use, whenever a memory occupied by a node is of no use, then the memory given to that node will be taken back by the operating system, and that is called as garbage collection. So that is called as garbage collection. But if you are using it, then the memory will not be taken back. That is called as memory allocation and garbage collection. So overflow and underflow, that is the usual notation what is already known to you. So what actually is a overflow? If you are trying to insert a new data into a data structure, but there is no available space, that is called as overflow. Like we have seen these conditions in stack and queue, and that overflow and underflow situation applies for each and every data structure. Overflow and underflow situations will apply for each and every data structure. So what the overflow indicates? If you are trying to insert some new data into the data structure in which there is no space, so that is called as overflow. What is underflow? You are trying to delete the data from an empty data structure. So that is called as underflow. That is, the term underflow refers to the situation where one wants to delete data from an data structure that is empty. So these are the two situations called overflow and underflow. Right, what we have covered in this class is linked list, definition of linked list, representation of linked list in memory, allocation, that is allocation of memory to the linked list, and garbage collection, the process of garbage collection. So these were the points which were discussed in today's class. Any questions from student side?